From Christ the King's Family Life Center in Little Rock, Arkansas, it's the Taste of Faith Virtual Edition, and here's your host, Father Jeff Hebert.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. Welcome to this year's Taste of Faith Virtual Edition. We are so glad to be here. Let me hear that joy, everybody. Let me hear it. Well, here we are to celebrate. This year's theme is COVID, I hate you, and why are we still doing this? No, seriously, we have a lot to celebrate. God has been providing for us so much, and here, the Diocese of Little Rock, his favorite part of the vineyard. We have 23 seminarians. That means 23 future priests in the next 8 years. We ordained 2 of them deacons. Yeah, let me hear it. Come on. 2 of those men were ordained deacons this summer. 3 of them just began their journey as seminarians. And if you'll remember, this past May at Barton Coliseum, we ordained 5 new priests for the Diocese of Little Rock. 2. That's right. We have a lot to be grateful for, and these are 5 great men. You'll have an opportunity to meet them later tonight. But before we do that, here's a look at what it was like for them in the days as they counted down before their ordination, and a little bit about the priest who helped them get there.
5 men will be ordained to the priesthood.
5 men.
5 men.
5 men ordained into the priesthood.
5 men will be ordained priests.
That's pretty awesome.
That's kind of mind-blowing.
In Arkansas, where nobody knows where it is. Yeah, it's incredible.
Great blessing for the diocese.
It means God has no limits.
What a better way to know that God really cares for us.
Is certainly a very obvious sign of his presence in our lives in a time when we really need it.
It really is, I think, is the work of the whole diocese.
It really tells the faith the whole people here at the diocese have.
You know, they think, what's in the water? Why you guys got so many wanting to join the seminary?
To have 5 young men being ordained in our diocese, our small little diocese, it speaks a lot to the grace of the Holy Spirit, but most of all, it speaks to the community of faith that we have here in the diocese. And a big part of that has been the encouragement and the work of Monsignor Friend, Bishop Taylor, but also every man and woman who has taken their faith seriously in this diocese and have really wanted to participate in the work not only of vocations, but in the work of building the kingdom of God here in the diocese.
I'm Alex Smith.
My name is Ben Riley.
My name is Brian Kundle.
I am Emmanuel Torres.
My name is Omar Galvin.
I'm a transitional deacon.
A transitional deacon.
I am a deacon for the Diocese of Little Rock.
Deacon from the Diocese of Little Rock.
Seminarian from the Diocese of Little Rock.
I'm going to be ordained.
Ordained a priest of our Lord.
I will be ordained a priest.
To the priesthood.
I'll be ordained to the priesthood for the Diocese of Little Rock.
On May 29th.
May 29th.
May 29th.
See, May 29th.
2021.
I know Emmanuel is counting down the days, and if you ask him, he's like, oh, there's only
1 month, 27 days, 22 hours, and 14 minutes.
I haven't had to worry about remembering how long it is to our ordination because I have Omar and Emmanuel there to remind me at any particular point.
1 month, 28 days, 20 hours, 43 minutes, and 52 seconds.
Pretty awesome. Excited, a little nervous.
I couldn't be more excited.
Less than 2 months.
I'm just really excited.
I'm excited. I'm very, very excited. I'm very happy waiting for this for a long time.
But also just a sense of gratitude.
I'm also very excited to finally be done with seminary and get to work. I'm ready to get to work.
Beyond the countdown, I just can't wait to be with the people. Can't wait to be in the parish.
5 men will be ordained to the priesthood. And thanks be to God, because we could use some help. So here in the diocese, Bishop Anthony Taylor has taken the work of vocations and formation of the priesthood very seriously. One, so that we as a diocese and you can continue to have ministers at the altar providing the sacraments for you. But he has taken it so seriously that he has dedicated one of his best priests, Monsignor Friend, to the work of vocations.
You see someone like Monsignor Friend who comes in and abandons himself to God's providence and says, all right, God, you are the one who provides. Abandoning himself to that, we start seeing the fruits of vocations. And we see that too with creating a culture of vocations in the state.
I don't think that I will be in seminary if it won't be for him. I believe that he has been a father for us. He provides for us in whatever we need. He taught me that God's provide all the time.
Monsignor Friend truly is a father for the seminarians. He cares for us very deeply, and he looks after us. And so in the past 8 years of my seminary formation, he's been a rock. And all the seminarians, I think, would say the same thing.
The legacy of Monsignor Friend has got to be faith. He's told me story after story about how a lot of his work in the beginning of his ministry was helping people to believe. At a time when there was a decrease in vocations, people have become more increasingly skeptical of Christianity, but also spirituality in general. His legacy and the work that he has done has helped people to believe. And not just to believe, but to come to know that what the Lord has revealed to us is real. It's tangible. You can reach out, you can touch it, you can talk to the Lord, and when he talks back, you can actually say, the Lord spoke to me. And helping people to believe that, not only in their own personal life, but that the Lord cares for his people. He provides for his people. And that promise that he has made to us through Jesus Christ is very real. I think that is one of the biggest legacies he's going to leave behind. It's just served us so well in providing young men who are joyful, who are happy to serve, and really give their life for the people. And I think it shows, one, not only in the numbers, but in the quality, that we must be doing something right here when it comes to forming young men to be priests for the service of God's people.
Well, there they are, your 5 new priests and Monsignor Friend, who helped them, together with about 50 of your current priests, arrive at the day of their ordination. Now, as the new vocation director, those are some big shoes to fill. It's a tough act to follow, but I'm encouraged in knowing that we have his support, his prayers, and everything that he does in his ministry, supporting the Office of Vocations. Thank you so much to Monsignor Friend. Now, unfortunately, because of his new responsibilities as the pastor of Blessed Sacrament Parish in Jonesboro, Arkansas, he wasn't able to be here in person tonight. It's tough to get away from a parish when you work as hard as Monsignor Friend does, and his schedule is as busy as it is. But he did agree to reach out to us via Zoom just to say hi to us virtually. So let's see if we can get Monsignor on the line. Yeah, I think he's here virtually now. Monsignor, you there? Monsignor.
Yeah, here I am. How's it going?
It's going great.
Well, good. Yeah, I'm really, very, very busy here in Jonesboro. Lots of things to do. How are the guys doing?
They're doing fine. But hey, Monsignor, is your staff okay? They look very still, very motionless.
Well, they're all new hires. They just kind of started. So, they're real dedicated. Look at Sister over there. She's kind of helping that guy out over there. You can see.
Okay, wait, Monsignor, are you drinking that Sonic drink through a silly straw? What's happening?
Well, yeah, I do this all the time now up here in Jonesboro, just to kind of lighten the mood and helping people to see the joy of the gospel.
Okay, no, I definitely hear waves crashing on a beach. Are you on vacation?
No, I'm not on vacation, Jim. Come on, how do you? I told you guys it's 5 minutes. Okay, that's not really important. What's important is that such a joy serving as the vocation director and has been the last 16 years. And I'm so grateful for the faith of everybody who's been watching today. And especially Father Jeff, I wish you well and count on my prayers. Also all our seminarians. God bless you all. Okay, all right, it's my serve now.
There he is. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Monsignor Friend. Thanks be to God for his service, for his ministry here in the diocese. We will miss him in the Office of Vocations, but we know he's doing great things down there in Jonesboro. Monsignor always said the taste of faith, really at the end of the day, it is not about the money. Of course, it's a fundraiser, but mostly it is about celebrating faith, celebrating being Catholic in the Diocese of Little Rock. So I just want to really emphasize, tonight's about having fun, about celebrating the faith that we have here amongst God's people in Arkansas. But I want you all to know that any and all money that you do donate is going to go directly to the formation of your future priests. It pays for their education, it pays for their food, it pays for their room and board, it pays for it all. So everything you give tonight is going to go directly to them, but I just wanted you to know that. So pay attention, don't go anywhere. Here's a quick message about how to donate.
Thank you for tuning in to this year's virtual Taste of Faith. To donate and to support your future priests, go to tasteoffaith.org and click the Donate Now button to submit your information. If you are watching from Facebook or YouTube, you can click the link found in the description of the video. Thank you again for all of your support. Now let's get back to the show.
Well, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Now, you might have noticed, I keep looking over here, you might have heard some laughter, some clapping. We have a few people joining us here tonight. Can we get a shot of that beautiful crowd? All right, let me hear you. Yeah. Wonderful. Look at them. Look at them. They're having some fun. Oh, my goodness. That looks like a good time to me. Now, these are the parents and families of our seminarians, as well as many people who have worked behind the scenes time and time again for the Taste of Faith all the way since 2010. We're so grateful for their work, and we're just hoping they come enjoy the show. Are y'all enjoying yourselves so far? All right. Good. That's what I like to hear. So I know there's some watch parties out there. Some of you might even be watching from the comfort of your own home. I encourage you to have as much fun as possible. If you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube, I encourage you, get active in those comment sections. In there is Jackson Nichols and Dewan Booker there to answer your questions, interact with you. But I encourage you, submit some really tough questions, because when the seminarians and the priests come out for their interviews, we're going to try to stump them live on the air with your questions. So make them hard, make them tough. But I won't keep y'all waiting any longer. Let's not keep this wonderful crowd waiting any longer either. Let's help me welcome our 5 newest priests in the Diocese of Little Rock. Welcome. Welcome, gentlemen. Come have a seat. Welcome, brother. All right, 2 of y'all got to sit back there. Very good. Good to see y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, seems like we're just doing this at the ordination. Okay, come on. Have a seat, have a seat. Where to begin, gentlemen? Where to begin? How are y'all doing?
Doing well.
Yeah, you must be. You're free on a Saturday night. No vigil mass tonight, right? Oh, Emmanuel had to do the vigil mass. Okay. Not like that's a chore. It's the mass, for crying out loud. Okay. So, I want to just give you all an opportunity. Go ahead and just pass that mic around, introduce yourself, and tell everybody what parish you're at, your first assignment.
So I'm Father Omar. I am at San Rafael's in Springdale and St. Joseph's in Tawnytown.
I'm Father Alex Smith. I am the associate pastor at St. Joseph's Catholic Church and School in Fayetteville, Arkansas, as well as the sacramental minister to St. Peter and Paul the Apostle in Lincoln, Arkansas.
I'm Father Emmanuel Torres, and my first assignment is in IHM in Marche and St. Mary's in North Little Rock.
Father Brian, oh, there we go. Hello, everyone. Okay, good evening. Father Brian Kundle from St. Joseph in Conway. I know there's some St. Joseph folks here tonight, so.
I'm Father Ben Riley at Immaculate Conception in North Little Rock.
All right, well, welcome, gentlemen. Welcome. Thank you so much for making yourselves available. Especially thank you to your pastors who made sure that y'all were available to come down here on a Saturday evening. Thank you guys out there. Appreciate it. Now, there was this countdown all the way to the moment of your ordination, but has any of y'all kept track of the number of days since then that you've been a priest, or masses that you said? What's going on? Oh, here, okay.
No. Let's see. 2 months and 8 days.
2 months, 8 days.
Yeah.
All right. Has it gone by quick?
Yes, very quick.
I believe it. Now, just a little note on that mic. Try not to hold it from the very bottom. It'll cut out. Perfect. There we go. Don't they follow directions so well? It's beautiful. Well, like I said, we're so grateful that y'all are here. So let's just go ahead. Let's take a look at how y'all arrived all the way from your families to the day of your ordination.
So I was born in San Diego, California. My family and I, we moved to Arkansas because of work, and my dad retired from the military. My home parish is here at St. Jude's the Apostle, and this has been my home parish. I grew up here, been raised cradle Catholic all my life. I have 2 older brothers and a little sister. I'm the third, so the best one. My mom, she's from the Philippines. You know, she grew up cradle Catholic. My dad is Tex-Mex. He's from South Texas originally. He's also cradle Catholic. So it's been beautiful for me to being raised in a family that, you know, has always grew up around the faith. My mom, of course, growing up, you know, we would have pizzas some days, but also other days would have Filipino food. So having the usual, you know, adobo or pancit or lumpia, you know, it was always different, you know, because my friends would come over. It's like, okay, we're having tonight pizza. Like, no, mom made noodles and my mom made some rice, and okay. My mom definitely shares that sense of our culture because of the food she makes. But being able to be a bridge of culture with not only to my family, but also my friends around me and our neighbors. And I think that's what the Lord calls each of us to do. That each of us have something to share in this world with our culture, our language, and as well as our own family, rich history. And so being able to share that with one another, I think makes this world a better place. You know, God calls us in certain times, but He's always calling us. But it's us when we pick up the phone and finally kind of answer and say hello. And I think for me, it was finally my junior year when I really took initiative to see, yes, you know, the Lord is calling me to love Him, and as well as see the beauty of our faith. You know, the faith starts at home, but also believe that the vocation is also being raised by the community of people. And I was grateful for the opportunities to participate in youth ministry, especially here at the parish, try to lead as much as I can, and especially the help of people my own age. I went to a retreat called Search. It was put on by the Diocese. And I think because of that just initial retreat, you know, that got me kind of thinking, reflecting over my own discipleship, my own call to be a witness and to love the Lord more and more. I mean, we're all called to have passion for our Lord. But I think in a greater sense too, especially to the priesthood, you know, you have to have conviction in what you do. You have to be willing to wake up in the morning and go to bed knowing that, you know, God's calling you to be a shepherd for the greater community. I've been in theology at Assumption Seminary in San Antonio, Texas. People think that you go to seminary, you learned everything. But some of the things you also have to learn along the way. I've done a little bit of visiting the sick and the elderly at the hospitals and the nursing homes, recognizing that those people need someone to talk to and listen to and just having a laugh with, or visiting children in the orphanage, or you know, being able to be in a community as well as, you know, at a school, being able to kind of what it means to be you know, a chaplain or a minister to people such as the youth at a school, and how your presence means a lot for them. The seminary has been helpful for me to recognize that it's not just about books or writing papers, but it's also about being able to see the Lord present amongst each other and able to share that with our words and with our love for one another.
Well, I was born here in Little Rock in 1994 on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, so there's always a party on my birthday. From a very young age, my mom and dad taught my brother and I the importance of faith and taught us how to pray. We were a very prayerful family, coming to church every Sunday and praying the rosary together every evening. Prayer life, being instilled in me at an early age, was fundamental in my vocation and in my eventual spiritual development. My dad is a chiropractic physician here in Little Rock, and it was his influence in serving people that I think was a really big inspiration for me. I always kind of knew that I wanted to serve people in that way, but Christ eventually put on my heart that He wanted me to serve in a different way. Instead of saving bodies, He wanted me to save souls. My mom would do anything for her children, and the vigor and the love that she expresses for my brother and I was an inspiration for me in how to love, very selfless, in giving not only what is easy, but giving also what is difficult, accepting the crosses that come our way and that came her way, and I think it was her that really exemplified that for me. My uncle also, Father Greg Hart, was a very large inspiration to me in my vocation and teaching me the joy of priesthood and what it means to give yourself fully to God and to his people. But he was, I think, the first person that asked me, Ben, what do you think about being a priest one day? And I was like, no, Father Greg, I really like this girl in my class, so I'm just, I'm going to hold out on that for a while. I was probably in first or second grade. I didn't really think much more about my vocation and my relationship with the Lord in such a serious way until I was in high school. And I went to grade school here at Christ the King, and then high school at Catholic High School for Boys. I would spend some time in the chapel at Catholic High, and really just started to fall in love with prayer and fall in love with that deep, close relationship with Christ. And I could feel something turning in my heart, something moving in those hours spent in the chapel at Catholic High. It was also around that time when I went to the Come and See retreat that the Diocese puts on every year for young men discerning vocations to the priesthood. And that was a big turning point for me as well. But I think the most kind of impactful part of it for me was meeting all of the seminarians and recognizing that these guys are regular men called to serve the Lord in a very particular way. I think there are a wide variety of reasons why Christ the King has been so blessed with vocations, but I think the primary reason is because the church has been praying for vocations. We started perpetual adoration here at Christ the King, and around that time is when we started receiving a lot of vocations, and I don't think that's a coincidence. People started praying for priests, and by the grace of God, young men started answering that call. So I started my first 4 years of seminary at the House of Formation here in Little Rock. What was nice about being in Little Rock was we had the opportunity to meet the people that we're going to be serving one day. We got to be involved in the different ministries and the different parishes that we would one day be serving in. So moving from the House of Formation to St. Meinrad was a pretty big leap because I had never been in a large seminary. So it was definitely a learning curve, but I didn't have anything to worry about. St. Meinrad is a wonderful place, and I think the greatest aspect of St. Meinrad is their academic formation. We can't give anything that we don't already have. It would be very difficult to preach about the depths of the Gospels and the mysteries of the Church if we didn't have a strong academic formation. So thankfully, St. Meinrad and their Benedictine kind of roots focus very heavily on teaching young priests or young seminarians to be able to serve their people in a very rounded way, a very full way.
So I was born and raised here in Little Rock. Speaking of God's providence, though I was born and raised in Little Rock, both my parents were born and raised in Wyoming. And so it's like, how did two Wyomingites get to Arkansas of all places? My mom and dad got married, and my mom ended up getting a job here in Little Rock. And so they were young and newly married and started a family here. So me and all my siblings were born and raised here in Little Rock. I have a younger brother and a younger sister. I went to Christ the King Catholic School here in Little Rock and attended Christ the King Parish. And my dad is a convert too, so my mom's cradle Catholic. Monsignor Hebert brought not only my dad into the church, but he also baptized me, baptized my sister, and baptized my brother. So my entire family was like baptized by Monsignor Hebert except my mom. So my parents and all my family have always been pretty active here at Christ the King, being involved in different ministries or different groups. And so just always been involved in the parish, always doing stuff around the parish. For my parents, they provided that foundation of faith because they were the first teachers of faith. And so just first introducing me to prayer, introducing me to God, and like being those first teachers of the faith, I think was really the foundation for me to go forward and know Christ and start to love Christ and then eventually start to want to follow Christ. Some of the biggest things Christ the King did or had a role in is Christ the King started perpetual adoration. And before perpetual adoration, there hadn't been a single vocation from Christ the King. Father Andrew Hart was the very first Christ the Kinger to be ordained. And so there's been many vocations coming out of Christ the King, and a lot of that is from creating that culture of vocations. People are praying for vocations. People are asking young men, have you thought about being a priest? They're starting to put that idea in young men's heads. After going to Christ the King and finishing up 8th grade here, I went to Catholic High School in Little Rock. And I didn't even really think about a vocation to priesthood until I was a junior in high school. And Father Patrick would tell me, Brian, I think you'd make a good priest. I think you have a vocation to the priesthood. Him just mentioning that was the first time I actually thought about a vocation to the priesthood. And so that's when I started wrestling with that question of what my vocation was in high school. I just started praying every day. There's a chapel in Catholic High, and so started going to the chapel after school and trying to follow God's will. And so in that gradual just process of praying, it eventually led me to talking to Monsignor Friend, and I went to the discernment retreat. We got done, and I was like, all right, not going to be a priest. Thank goodness that's over. We got that out of our system. Okay, I've discerned well. We've no priesthood. We're going to get married. But that call stayed with me. You know, God's going to keep poking at you and kind of keep reminding you. And Monsignor Friends talked about how you have to discern whether your heart was made in such a way as to love one other person for your entire life in the vocation of marriage, or did God make your heart in such a way as to love all people? I know even applying to colleges, like nothing felt right. Like I wasn't really excited to go anywhere. Like I didn't have that passion, but those were ways God was telling me that my heart was made in a way to love more, in a way to love all people.
I was born in Mexico, Guadalajara, December 1986. We lived in Mexico until I was 12. Then we moved here to North Little Rock. My family is very Catholic. I was going to Mass on Sundays at least, and my parents were very active in church when we were in Mexico. When we moved here, all that things changed. First thing, it was because of the language. We didn't know a parish that offered Spanish masses, so we stopped going for like 6-7 years. It was my teenager, so I just went away from church for a while. But the faith in my house was always present. My parents, they lived their faith. Even today, when I go back to visit them, I see them praying every night. They pray together a rosary, and then they go to separate rooms and they pray each their own prayers. And it's very nice to see that. It's beautiful to see that. I think that how they water my seed of my faith and my vocation as well. One of the difficulties of the transition was that the language, the culture was very different. I entered 8th grade. My first day I was shaking. I never shake, as far as I know, I never shaken in my life before that. I always said that 8th grade was the worst year of my life. I was very shy. I was afraid I would say something wrong, or they would not understand. It was hard. I remember one time when the tornado alarms got off, and it was just practice, and I didn't know that. Then we went to the floor and put our hands like this. I almost started crying because I was very nervous, but it was just a trial. Being an immigrant and trying to fit in the community in the United States, in the American community, was hard, and I can relate to all the immigrants that have been coming here. It might be hard for both parts, like to find a common ground, but the common ground that we can find is our faith. We're coming from other places, culture is different, language is different, so when we come here we see a Catholic church, I feel more at home. The love of the people make me feel that I belong here. Yeah, that's when I felt that this is home. I started going to St. Edward's when I was 20 years old, and I found some friends in high school, and they started going to the youth group here in St. Edward's. And that's when I started knowing God personally, more like having more a spiritual connection with Him. I feel that the Hispanic ministry was a bridge for me to come to get into the whole community of the church. My life went to 180-degree change. Since then, I was thinking about the priesthood. Like, I always said that I started with more curiosity. I was just curious and like, oh, that sounds awesome. Like, change people's lives and things like that. But then I met with Father Monsignor Friend. He's one of the persons that God put me in my life. He's a great spiritual leader. He taught me how to listen to God, and he invited me to the House of Formation. Thinking about it, I guess that's how I discerned that this is my vocation, that this is really my call. I enjoy this. I really enjoy it. Being part of a parish and being the priest, and I'm not a priest yet, but this filled my heart, and you know what you're doing is right when you are in all constant challenges, but you feel in peace. So, and I feel constant challenges in the ministry, in the school, in seminary, in my spiritual life, but I feel good. I feel in peace. I feel joyful doing it. For me, my parents are the best parents. They love us very much, and I've seen in their sacrifice. And I asked them one time if they are happy being here in the United States, and my mom said, like, I don't regret it because I see you guys happy. I always feel that I don't have had to repay them. I don't know now that can I be a priest? I'm like, okay, it worth it. It really worth it.
I was born November 8, 1992. I am the fifth of six. I was born in a very small town in Mexico, El Aguacate, which translates to avocado. Everyone in this small town is Catholic, and everything is revolved around our Catholic faith. Back in March of 2000, the whole family immigrated to the United States. I was 7. That was tough. No culture, no language, not being able to speak, not being able to just make friends. It was tough. I remember my first word in English, my first word in English that no one laughed at. They actually understood what I was trying to say was house. And I still remember because, it's for me at that time, it was a great accomplishment. Once I moved to the United States, we arrived here in Fort Smith, and everything was in Spanish. Spanish Mass, we went to Spanish, El Mercado, just for groceries. Everything was in Spanish for me, except school. Yeah, my family was just very devout Catholics. Always was doing something in the church. Coming here to the United States was a big change. Not only culturally, but also in the faith. A lot of the things that they did in Mexico, they didn't do here. In Mexico, living your faith is just natural. It's not an option. And coming to United States, you find out very soon that living out your faith, it's something that you have to choose, something that you have to do very intentional. One of the things that I started to notice is that my mom had this practice of praying the rosary, and she kind of got everyone and my siblings kind of into it as well. One time, my dad invited me to this perpetual adoration chapel. He invited me, and on our way there, he told me, Omar, when your mom and I got married, your mom promised that she would pray the rosary every night for you guys. And then I realized that, we were not only praying the rosary with her, but for our siblings. In my kind of way, my mom was keeping her promise. And my dad kind of promised that he was going to visit the Blessed Sacrament, at least for 15 minutes. And he was inviting me into his promise. And he said this beautifully to me one day. He said, my vocation as a father ends when you find your own vocation. It's really hard to kind of pinpoint when God really called me to the priesthood. When I was about 14, 15, I wanted to be a middle school teacher. I told God, I want to be this kind of teacher, math teacher in specific, because everyone hates math. Because I wanted to be an influence for those teenagers. And that was the way that I want to bring God to them. Just simple high five, sometimes does a lot. A simple smile, just being able to be attentive to the students. Hey, how are you doing? What's going on? And I told him, this is what I want to do. But you already know what I want to do. And I definitely want to hear. I want to know what you want for me. And it's incredible because I never realized that, even after I entered seminary, I didn't know that I was going to be this close and that I would be able to be a teacher in a different way. And you want something, or you want to do something, and God has something for you even bigger.
Yeah, I mean, Barton Arena, not the place you think you'll have an ordination. It's the place you think you'll have monster truck rally, but we're going to sanctify today with this incredible ordination.
Well, it's pretty exciting. Came in here, I was expecting like a gun show or a rodeo or something, but the space has been transformed to really a sacred space. So it's really exciting. We're just so happy for the guys. So many smiles on everybody's faces today. It's going to be a good one.
33 minutes, 40 something seconds. Oh my gosh. Seen a lot of people just continue coming, and it's like, I just hope it gets filled, and it makes me more and more nervous.
The people who have worked so hard to get us here, I'm so thankful to everybody who can come together as a church and celebrate with us. I'm overjoyed. It's the joy that comes from Christ, and it's really beyond words. I'm at peace about it, absolutely, yeah. It's been a long time coming. I've been studying and preparing for this for 8 years, so I'm very much at peace.
Very nervous and very happy. I saw a lot of people that I know, and they've been all supporting me all this year, so I'm very, very excited. Nervous? I started a year ago with the counting down, but now it's less than an hour now, so it's getting closer.
It's definitely for real now. We're finally here. I'm finally getting ordained as priest. So it's this game day ready kind of feeling. So it's a beautiful moment to be here with family and friends, with all the priests I will call my brothers, as well as my brothers' classmates who will become priests together. It's been a journey for all of us, and I'm just grateful to be here for the ride, but also be here in the front seat as the Lord and the bishop and all my priests gives me the sign of peace, and my family and my friends cheering me on.
I think a lot of excitement. Like, I'm excited, and I know all the people are excited, and everybody's here, and we got family here, we got friends, we got all our loved ones who've been with us through our entire journey, and I'm excited. I'm ready to go. Let's go. Let's get ordained. If the bishop could do it right now, I'll just kneel on the floor right here and let's do it. At this point, like, I'm being ordained with my brothers. Like, we've spent all this time together, we've grown together, we've shared meals together, we've laughed together, we've cried together, like, we've gone through this whole formation process together, and it's really kind of, I think, fitting that we come to the end of it and are all getting ordained together.
We come from different parts of Arkansas, different journeys, as well as cultural backgrounds. How amazing is that the Lord speaks to all of us where we come from. It shares the sense of that we're here to walk with everyone.
We're kind of all on the same team, and we're all supporting each other, and we're all really united with a singular goal of leading people closer to Christ and the salvation of souls.
We're all called to a specific vocation. We are unique. We always have something to offer. Sometimes we don't see it, but other people can see it. I would just want to be a good priest, and I hope that people will see that.
God is a providential God. And, even in the midst of COVID, even in the midst of any other situation, God will always provide. Every Sunday, we come to God's house, and God provides food for us. And what better food that He provides that is body and blood of His Son. And the only way that it could happen is through a priest.
Of all the years to have like a big class being ordained together, of 5 guys all being ordained together, like, He chose this time of pandemic to have us be ordained, and to have 5 of us, 5 new priests, being able to work in His vineyard.
How much more that the Father is saying to us that He loves us by presenting 5 guys and saying, look, I love you, and I'm offering you these 5 guys to show you that I care for you. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Amazing. Truly amazing. Amazing journeys all around. You know, those ordination liturgies are just so powerful. I remember my own ordination. Right when it started, I looked to my right, and there's Father Patrick Friend crying his eyes out, and that made me cry my eyes out. It's overwhelming. So I want to ask Emmanuel, what moment from your own ordination stands out the most for you?
When Father Ruben and Monsignor Scott vested me, that was a very powerful moment. I was trying to, the day before the ordination, I was a mix of feelings. I don't know what, I could not say how I feel. But, and I was looking for, I was just, I don't know, getting to talk to someone about it and just feel how I feel and just to feel, I don't know, that thing. So when Father Ruben and Monsignor vested me and they gave me a hug, I started crying. I couldn't hold it anymore.
So you're the crier.
Oh yeah, I am. He cried too. And I said it like, you cried. Yeah, because he said like, he told me before the ordination that you're gonna cry, and said like, you're gonna cry too. And he said, no, I'm not gonna cry. But he did. So when they gave me the hug, and I don't know, it was very special. All those, he passed through my mind all these years, and a lot of years. He said how many? 11 years in some months. Anyway, that doesn't matter.
He just loves seminary so much. He didn't want to, yeah.
But yeah, when they, I don't know, just all those, this time that passed, and how God has been there for me, and through these guys, they were a mentor for me, and so, I don't know, it was a very powerful moment, and I guess that's I don't know.
Sure. Well,
I started crying that day, at that moment, a lot.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that's why you asked those two men to vest you, because they're such important men in your life, help you get to that. They've been along you all 11 years. They were with you.
Yes, since the beginning. So
yeah. So they're at the finish line. I'm sure that was pretty meaningful.
It really was.
Yeah. Well, talking about people accompanying you to the finish line, Omar, you had about 3 busloads of your family there with you. Tell us what it was like in that room with your family there, just having your back and being there to support you on that day.
Yeah, so just, people would come up to me and say, hey, are you nervous? I'm like, no, I'm excited. And the time when I got nervous is when I saw the bus arrive and people would just come in, and I was like, oh my gosh, so many people. And that's the time I got nervous. But it just really shows that, not only, like how Father Alex said it in the video, it's really where the vocation comes from. It comes from a family. And just seeing the support from half of my family being there.
That was only half?
Just only. It's just very special having a lot of family I haven't seen. It was also a gift from us just because a lot of them haven't seen each other as well. And so it was a privilege. It was shown that in Mexico, I got to go and do a Thanksgiving Mass with the rest of the family that couldn't be there. It's interesting because when you get married, you accompany the bride and the spouses from the church to their house and then celebrate there. And it was different for me. It was the family. I went vested as a priest from my house to the church.
Wow.
And it just shows that the family is offering, a priest to the church, and the party was in the church, and it just shows that the family is there with their own sacrifices, their own experience, their own prayers, bringing a family member for the church. And so it's very special.
Amen. That's so special. Yeah, that's a cool tradition there too. The traveling with the new priest from his home to the church for the celebration. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful. So you guys, they've been serving in the diocese now for about 2 months. And here in Arkansas, when you're ordained, you're basically thrown straight into full-fledged ministry. So Alex, what has that been like, being a rookie, but having all the responsibilities of a parish priest?
Frightening? No, it's been I would say, yes, a little bit, because when right when you get ordained, there's a sense of feeling you graduated, you're ready to go. Everything you've learned in the classroom, your parish experiences as a seminarian, you go into the parish thinking, I got it all, I'm ready to give it to you, Lord, and to your people. And then you realize that there's a lot you still have to learn.
Sure.
A lot to learn of how to love, how to have mercy, and have patience. Patience with yourself and, of course, with God. And to work with him and pray to him and ask for his help along the way. And so there's always a million things to do at the parish. Being at St. Joseph's, there's the school's coming up soon, as well as helping out the missionary parish in Lincoln. There's always something to do, but you got to take it a step at a time and also rely on the Lord first and foremost.
Always good advice. Yeah. Always good advice. Well, speaking of serving the people, here we are at the Taste of Faith, surrounded by people who have been generous to you throughout your formation to the priesthood. So, Ben, I want to hear a little bit about what it's like finally being able to return that generosity through your priestly ministry.
I mean, I'm getting to do exactly what I feel called to do, and that's just such a unique experience, I think. I still wake up in the morning just in disbelief and awe that I'm getting to serve the people in this way. And it's been such a blessing in so many ways that I hadn't anticipated. Also that I had the courage to answer the call when I did, that hopefully by the grace of God, I'll be able to serve the people of the diocese for many, many years to come. So my overall experience of the past 2 months has just been one of gratitude and awe in the Lord's amazing work in my life and the life of the seminarians.
Well, I'd say those are good signs that you have fulfilled your vocation, or you are fulfilling it, so good choice. Now, Brian, you told the Arkansas Catholic that you hoped to be a sort of Swiss Army knife priest. What the heck does that mean, and how has that played out so far in your first 2 months of ministry?
You know, when I used that analogy, I came up with it actually kind of on the spot. I was like, man, that's pretty good. But now it keeps coming back up again and again. And I'm like, maybe I should have thought more about my analogy. But it turns out actually it is a pretty good analogy for the priesthood, especially the diocesan priesthood, in that, as, like the seminarians here in Little Rock, the priests here in Little Rock are not one-dimensional. In seminary, we get to discern, we get to see where our gifts are, where our talents are, and we may be called to something and better at something, like, oh, maybe I'm really good at hospital ministry or something, but you have to be good at everything, or have to be able to do everything. And so I think God doesn't call one-dimensional priests in Little Rock. God is calling Swiss Army knife priests, which kind of means you're a priest that can be a priest in all occasions, all situations. A Swiss Army knife's got all sorts of gadgets and gizmos all over. And so a diocesan priest, you're able to visit the hospital, you've got a school, you're visiting the school kids, you're present with the youth ministry, you're celebrating Mass, hearing confessions, just doing the sacraments in the parish, just all sorts of incredible things. And it's like you're stretched in that way, but it's an absolutely just beautiful blessing. I've been enjoying and striving to be a Swiss Army knife priest. I hope I've been doing that for the people of St. Joe. But
oh, I'm sure it's something different every day too, right? Responding in that way as a diocesan priest here, every day is different. It keeps you guessing, keeps you on your toes.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, every day is different. There'll be days where it's you wake up, you go to the office, you think, okay, normal day, and then get a sick call, you go to the hospital and anoint somebody. Then right after that, you get back and you have a meeting with somebody else about marriage prep. Sure. And so it's you go from some sad situation where you're there as a priest to some incredibly happy situation where you're there as a priest. And then you maybe have just the parish council that evening, you got Mass that evening too, you got confessions before Mass. But I think it's just such an absolute beautiful blessing. You're the presence of God in each of those situations. Even though it's a sad situation or a happy situation,
certainly
you're just able there to be a priest for the people of God in all of those moments.
Definitely. Well, thanks be to God for that. And if that's not Little Rock priesthood, then I don't know what is. I want to thank you guys for your priesthood. Thank you for all the work you put in seminary. Obviously, y'all can tell it's paid off big time. These men are men who have hearts like Jesus Christ. Thank y'all for making yourselves available tonight. And like I said before, Monsignor always said, it's not about the money, but it doesn't mean it's not fun to see just how generous you guys have been. So let's check the total right now. Where are we at? Oh my goodness, here we go. $96,550. Wow. Wow. I am always overwhelmed with y'all's generosity. It's truly incredible. I'm so grateful. Thank you just so much. Well, I just want to encourage y'all, don't go anywhere. We have just a few messages for you. Cody, what in the world is happening? Cody, this is...
I'm sorry, Father, we got to settle this right now.
Settle what? This is the taste of faith, man.
Just calm down, Father. I would like to present to everyone John Paul Hardnetty. Come to the stage. John Paul! There he is. So what's been going on is for the past 3 years, there has been a battle raging between seminarians on who can bake the better cake. And tonight, we're going to find out. Come right over here, JP.
How did you rope John Paul into
goodness.
this?
JP, how you feeling?
Feeling good. Now's the time. Yeah, I mean, sometimes we're all brothers, right? But sometimes you just got to draw a line in the sand and enough's enough.
That's right. Remember, you said you were going to fight fair. So, JP, who are you challenging tonight?
Oh, he knows who he is. Hong.
Hong?
Hong Win. Welcome, Hong Win, to the stage.
What is happening?
Stay out of this, Father, all right? These are
two of the most agreeable seminarians we have. Okay.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to have them each describe their cake, and then after they describe the cake, I'm going to take a bite of each of the cakes, and I'm going to tell you which one is the best. And we're going to settle this tonight. JP, could you please start? What is that on top?
I drew a little... It's Father Jeff.
Oh, we got to get a side-by-side. Get the side-by-side. Look at that. Nice.
It's actually pretty
What
close.
else is there
it's
about
actually
your
accurate.
100%.
So this is a German chocolate cake with a little added decoration on the top, but it's my favorite chocolate cake to make. It's got 2 layers and whipped vanilla icing on the top.
Sounds delicious. All right, Hong Win, tell us about your cake here.
This is a fruit cake. So to describe my cake, with the white color symbolizing for the purity in the priest life, and second color along with blue color symbolizing for the hope, and pink color symbolizing for the refreshness in the life of vocation. So finally, above the fruits are symbols for the fruit of holiness, who to become the commissioned servant in the future. Thank you.
Thank you for that dissertation.
That sounds delicious. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try one bite of each of these cakes. JP, you got a fork?
Wait, let me get this straight. Cake fight just means you eating cake.
That's exactly right, Father. All right, you don't have a fork? I came prepared. Hold on. All right, here we go.
Oh my gosh.
All righty. It's already a little hard, JP. I like them a little soft.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Losing points for texture.
Oh, here we go.
What do you think?
Oh, that's a cream cheese icing, isn't it, JP? Oh my God. Oh, yeah.
What in the world is happening?
I got another one for this cake. All right. That's at least a 4 out of 10. All right. Let's go here. Hong wanted me to take from the back so it didn't make it look not pretty. Thank you, Hong.
Cody, if you wanted cake, you could have just asked.
Oh my God, Father, be quiet. I gotta enjoy this. Oh my gosh. Wow. This cake is the winner. This I present to you guys, Hong Win, who is now the Hong winner.
Get off the stage.
Here, give that cake to Father.
Get off the
right
stage.
there.
Oh, okay, all right. I guess I get a cake now. Okay.
God bless y'all. Have a good night.
Oh my gosh. Okay. That's a little glimpse into what it's like. Okay, get yourself a piece. There you go. Get that strawberry. It's a glimpse into what it's like living with the seminarians right there. There's a lot of shenanigans. And thanks be to God, we have a Catholic newspaper in Arkansas that will always deliver to you the shenanigans of the seminarians. More importantly, coverage of their ordinations, their development in seminary, and we're just so grateful for the work that the Arkansas Catholic does. And what's better news is that it's free. You can go online and you can register, and they will deliver the Arkansas Catholic newspaper to your email box constantly. So go to Arkansas, not constantly, that's a good thing. It's a good thing. You want it constantly. Arkansas-Catholic.org. Click on subscription, sign up for your free online Arkansas Catholic newspaper. But now I want to gauge the chat rooms, where it's time to try to stump these new priests. I hope you all studied a lot in seminary. You haven't forgot everything yet. Let's see what questions our viewers propose to us. All right, thank you, gentlemen. Jackson Nichols, Dewan Booker, everybody. All right, here we go. Here we go. We'll start off with the softball. Rocket 4234 asks, what's the most rewarding thing about being a priest?
You're holding the mic.
Yeah. Get it.
They know I always have something. So I think the most rewarding thing for me about being a priest is just being able to do the sacraments for the people of God. Like, I find my most joy and just like the absolute highlights of my day are being able to say Mass, to preach, to hear confessions, to anoint people, to have any and all sacraments, but absolutely, without a doubt.
The sacrament of reconciliation has been the biggest grace for me. You know, we talk about this a lot in the seminary, and we practice mock confessions in the seminary, but nothing can prepare you for the intimacy of that sacrament and for being with the people in their sorrow and their suffering and trying to be that mercy of Christ to them. So that's been a really profound experience of grace that I just didn't anticipate.
Definitely. You got an answer, Omar?
Just being with the people, besides the sacraments, which are just grace-filled, always. We know God is present there, but just being with people, this week is the great festival in Tontitown, great time. Just being able to getting to know the people, and especially, as a new priest, you come into this parish, you don't really know people, and just hearing their stories, being able to, help around with the spaghetti and destroy the spaghetti and getting in trouble for not doing it correctly. But, it's about being with them, and so I enjoy that.
Excellent. So, if you'll forgive a little favoritism, my brother Josh Hebert asks, what Olympic event would you win in gold versus the other seminarians?
Okay. If there was an event about taking a nap, I would definitely win.
Maybe sarcasm? Pretty good at that. I don't know if I'll get
I don't know how
gold.
you would judge who wins that, but
who knows?
So
I think Father Ben and I have some legitimate events back here, but definitely shot put and discus. I'd definitely beat all of them in shot put and discus.
Any of our seminarians contest that? Silence, so yeah, they give it to you. Yeah.
This was the first year of rock climbing in the Olympics, and I think I could give them a run for their money in rock climbing. I actually placed a small wager on the rock climbing, and unfortunately my guy did not place, but maybe the next time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, excellent. Thank you, Josh, for that question. All right, YouTuber Marie Constancia asks, what is your relationship with our Blessed Mother, and what role has she played in you becoming a priest?
Man, I got a tough one. I need to think.
It's all right. Take your time.
Well, recently she has become very important to me. Even though we pray the rosary in my house, my relationship with her was not very strong. I always say I got jealous by why I pray to Mary, we have Jesus and things like that. So, I was always saying man, I have something is wrong with me, and because it's Mary, is the Mother of God. She had Jesus in her. So, but in the seminary, I talked to my spiritual director about it, and he was my confessor as well. So he was very wise, giving me my penance to pray to Mary, and all the time it was my penance. It was pray to Mary all the time. Whatever sin I said, he sent me to Mary, and I started developing that relationship with her. Before Mass, I always say Hail Mary, and just ask her to help me to be a good priest, and be worthy to consecrate her son. So it's a relationship that I have been building little by little, and
she's been there all the time. And as I said, before Mass, I say a prayer to her, asking me for her blessing.
Thanks be to God. Good penances.
And the good thing about the priesthood, I wanted to say, I agree with Omar.
Yeah.
I agree with Omar. Being with the people, besides the sacraments, which are that I had celebrate Mass in IHM today, and I returned because I had COVID, but I just came out from quarantine, and just when I finished Mass and going outside and say hi to the people and seeing all their love and support to me, and like, oh Father, I'm glad that you are okay, and they send me all the prayers I say on Facebook, and just being, sometimes it's just, we think that we give a lot to them, but we receive a lot from them, and
certainly
just being there for them. They say like, oh, thank you for celebrating Mass, and it's something special, and feeling their love to us, and just because we are priests.
Sure.
And
yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. No, that's great. We'll finish with a fun one. So this is Matthew Phillips on YouTube asks, what do you call parishioners of a cathedral, as it is technically not a parish? So let's just assume that that's true, that they're not called parishioners. What would you call the people who go to the cathedral? Any thoughts?
I have one idea.
All right, Brian, give it.
I can cheat because I see the rector/not rector because he's, what are you? He's
administrator.
He's the administrator of the cathedral. Father Joseph Diobagozo is here. What do you call your parishioners that are possibly not parishioners?
Right now I'm calling cathedralites.
Okay, he calls them cathedralites.
Cathedralites it is, Matthew. Hopefully that answers your question. Very good. All right, don't go anywhere. When we come back, you'll meet the 3 newest seminarians for the Diocese of Little Rock. We'll see you soon.
Thank you for tuning in to this year's virtual Taste of Faith. To donate and to support your future priests, go to tasteoffaith.org and click the Donate Now button to submit your information. If you are watching from Facebook or YouTube, you can click the link found in the description of the video. Thank you again for all of your support. Now let's get back to the show.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Please help me welcome the 3 newest seminarians for the Diocese of Little Rock, Kevin Medina, Pedro Alvarez, and Joshua Osborne. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome. Come have a seat. Welcome to the show. Welcome. Have a seat. You join the Diocese of Little Rock and get your own TV show. All right. Welcome, welcome. Well, how y'all feel? It's your first taste of faith. What's it been like?
Very good.
Good. Yeah, good. Y'all happy? Y'all look happy. All right, good. Well, we're so excited to have you, not just the seminarians, but here on the program, the Taste of Faith. Now, Kevin, you're from Nuestra Senora de Guadalupe in Glenwood, Arkansas, and you just graduated high school. Is that right?
That is right.
Congratulations, congratulations. And now you're on TV.
Yes.
Well, could you tell us a little bit about just the first time you thought about being a priest?
Well, this goes way long time ago. The first time I thought about being a priest was like, when I was 2 years old. I'm kidding. No, I was in my 11th grade year, of course, of high school. And during Thanksgiving break, I went to this retreat called Búsqueda, where, people search for God, and hence the name Búsqueda, search. But while I was over there, there was a guy named Pablo, and this guy was giving a testimony to the guys. And while he was giving his testimony, I felt like if I was the only one in the room. And while his testimony, I felt this little spark in my heart. And this told me, just pay more attention to him. And I'm like, why, just why pay more attention to him? Nobody else is. Sure. So, but anyways, at the very end, he had these pamphlets that he was handing out. And I went to go grab one. Again, this spark in my heart told me, you gotta go, you gotta go. Like if there was an invisible string pulling me to it.
Oh.
And so.
Who do you think was pulling that string?
God.
Yeah.
But yeah, and this pamphlet was a come and see retreat. And this
Which is a retreat, by the way. Let me just do a shameless plug. The Come and See retreat is for high school students who are open to the call of the priesthood. They get to come to the diocese. They have a retreat that's put on by our seminarians, inviting them to pray with that question, is God calling me to be a priest?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
But anyways, at this retreat, I felt more closer to God. I felt more, alive. I felt more joy in this, what I was at. Yes, I was having a good time there. I was laughing. I was also crying, but, tears of joy, because there was so much emotion going on there. I was, so happy. And there I met Monsignor Friend. And he pulled me over and told me, hey, we got to talk, So he called me, he texted me, he emailed me. He went to go visit me at my home, just, because I felt this call as well as he did. And he said, I see it. And I'm like, okay. So yeah, it took months and months, but by the end of September in 2020, I decided I was going to be a seminarian. Told my parents, told my family, And yeah, now I'm here.
Now you're here.
Yeah.
Well, thanks be to God for that, truly. Yeah, let's hear it for Kevin. Now, Josh, you were in college at the University of Central Arkansas in Conway, and your family's actually from Tennessee.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about how God helped you say yes to being a priest in the Diocese of Little Rock.
Yeah, good question, Father. So, when I went to Arkansas to come and study at UCA, I had no intention at all of joining the seminary. It was not even a thought in my mind.
No offense taken.
Yes, sorry. But, after a couple of years of college and I started, feeling that call, and I started praying and discerning about it, then, I finally realized that, God was calling me and saying, this is the reason why you're here. He was saying that, you came to Arkansas to study out of your free will, but I have a greater plan for you. And so after that, I finally felt that call, and I said, I'll trust in that. I'll trust that there is a greater plan, even if I can't see it all the time, just like I hadn't, just a couple of months before. Another thing that helps me choose the Diocese of Little Rock is that, God wants us to be happy. He wants us to be fully fulfilled.
Definitely.
And so for me, I need a good community. I know that about myself.
Well, we'll have a look around here, man. You got a priestly community right
a
here.
great community, yes. I found that so much here at the diocese, from the laity, all of their prayers, from the priests, the deacons, the staff at the diocese, the seminarians especially. All of them have really made this place feel like home. So, I am just so grateful to God and so grateful for all of these great prayers and all of your work that you guys do.
Well, we're glad to have you. That's an incredible story. Thank you. Sorry, Tennessee, but he's with us now. Yeah. Now, Pedro, you come to us from right here, from Christ the King Parish in Little Rock. That's
right.
And here you are. You're just now starting out on your journey to the priesthood. What would you say to any young men out there who might also be considering a call?
Well, I can just share from my personal experience. God's call to the priesthood in my life was terrifying. So if you feel the same way, if you're terrified, it's okay. I was terrified too. I'm pretty sure the guys sitting next to me were terrified. I'm pretty sure half of the seminarians were terrified. So one of the things I had to remind myself constantly was that God had my best interests in mind, and I had to repeat that to myself every day, even if I didn't believe it. And when I finally accepted his call, which was like mid-second semester at UCA, I felt this peace, this joy that I hadn't felt in like 2.5 years. So that was beautiful, and the fact that God kept my best interest in his mind, it was fulfilled in that moment. So yeah, just repeat that to yourself constantly. Of course, pray. Don't go through this alone. Tell your parents about it. If you know any of the seminarians, tell them about it. Tell your parish priest. Don't go through this alone, especially if God's calling you. So,
excellent. I could not agree more. Men, don't fear the fear and trust that God truly wants you to be full of his joy. And it will lead you to the joy you see in these men and the other men, even the cake guys. They're super happy too. Yeah. Now, y'all had the opportunity to serve in some parishes this summer, just for a couple months. What has that been like? What is your impression of the people of God in the Diocese of Little Rock?
Their generosity.
Yes, I would have to say, yeah, generous. Yes, so I want to just encourage everyone. Look what your generosity has become. The God who provides has transformed your generosity into vocations, into laborers for the harvest. Thanks be to God for all of that. But these young men here, they're committing to a life of prayer, a life of discernment, a life of growth, that difficult growth in the virtues, so that they one day can be good and faithful priests for you, God's people. So pray for them. They need your prayers, especially because they got to put up with me half the time. But I just want you to know that they will be praying for you. They experienced your generosity already, and just in the first few months of being a seminarian, please return the favor and pray for them as well. Now, here they are at the beginning of their journey. Frequently, we commemorate the beginning and entering into the seminary with a signing ceremony, which is not unlike signing for like a football scholarship for Alabama, Arkansas, Texas A&M, but they will be signing a document way more important. It's not a scholarship. It's the official episcopal letter of appointment from Bishop Anthony Taylor, like this one. Here it is in the flesh, gentlemen, right here. There, this letter. This letter appoints them officially to the seminary, to be seminarians, so that they can study and one day become priests. Now, Kevin was able to sign his letter in the presence of his own parish community in Glenwood. Tonight, Pedro and Josh are going to sign it in the presence of the entire community of the Diocese of Little Rock, right here in front of you as they commit to the life of prayer and discernment as seminarians in the diocese. But before we do that, let's get a checkup on how much money you generous people have donated tonight. All right. Should say a Hail Mary first? What do you think? Okay. No. It's upside down. Oh my. Oh my gosh. Okay. $322,000. 125. That is incredible. That is incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, you are incredible. When we come back, we will be signing these letters with Pedro and Joshua. Don't go away.
Thank you for tuning in to this year's virtual Taste of Faith. To donate and to support your future priests, go to tasteoffaith.org and click the Donate Now button to submit your information. If you are watching from Facebook or YouTube, you can click the link found in the description of the video. Thank you again for all of your support. Now let's get back to the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, with these letters, Bishop Anthony Taylor officially appoints Pedro and Joshua to seminary formation at the House of Little Rock, the House of Formation in Little Rock, to that seminary formation program. They'll be taking classes at the University of Arkansas in Little Rock, as well as Newman University, virtually, from Wichita, Kansas. Now, the formation program, it engages all aspects of the human person, especially in the life of the priest. So they're going to be learning how to pray well. We call this spiritual formation, where they're going to the source, the fountain of grace, so that what they experience there when they meditate and contemplate the mysteries of God and salvation, they can communicate it well to the people of God to truly proclaim the good news of Jesus Christ. They'll also have to study. They got to study philosophy. They have to study theology, so that when they communicate that grace, it's done in a way that's actually intelligible, that people, the good people of God, can understand what it is that they're saying. And then also, a challenging part of formation is something we call human formation. It's when that's the part of formation that works on communication, that works on relatability, approachability, on the human virtues, so that when they come and interact with you at a parish, not only can you trust them with financial decisions, not only can you trust them with administrative decisions, but they make conversation easy. They make it easy for you to approach them with your issues, with your problems, with your sorrows, but also with your joy, so that they can share in the entire life of the Christians in the Diocese of of Little Rock. And then what we call pastoral formation is combining all of that together and sharing in the pastoral charity of Christ. That is, the charity that comes with being a shepherd, so that when they come to you and your parish, they can truly lead you to the true shepherd, the one high priest, Jesus Christ himself. So that is what it means to enter into seminary formation. It sounds like a lot, but I promise you, all of the seminarians, the formation staff, Bishop Anthony Taylor, myself, will do everything to guide them along the way and walk with them step by step. So gentlemen, without further ado, I invite you to take this pen from Bishop Taylor's hands and sign as seminarians in the Diocese of Little Rock. Stamp, so you can go ahead and put the hats on. Congratulations, guys. Welcome. Thank you. Welcome. Well, congratulations. Get that table out of the way. All right, as the seminarians gather their new brothers, this concludes our evening. I want to thank everyone for coming, especially the live studio audience who came to enjoy the show. I want to especially thank you to Christ the King Parish. Father Eric, I think you're still back there. Thank you for letting us use your space for this wonderful evening. It's extremely generous for you to let us crash the party, so to speak, here on a Saturday evening. A special thanks, too, to Travis McAfee, who is producing all of this. He's the man and his crew behind the cameras, behind the videos you produce. It's Travis McAfee's work. Excellent man. Special thanks also to Tara Little. This year we have the tasteoffaith.org website. It's the first time we've had our own website, and Tara Little built it from the ground up, essentially. So thank you so much to Tara for all the work you did in that website. And of course, thank you to you, the people of God, for your faith, for continuing to believe in the promises of Jesus Christ and to trusting us to come and serve you and to deliver that good news of Him who is our model, who is the great high priest of us all. And so to say goodnight to everyone, to end this evening, we're going to say goodnight to you in the same way we say goodnight to the Lord every night after night prayer as we sing the Salve Regina. Hit it.
Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, et spes nostra salve. A te clamamus, exules filii ere, a te suspiramus, gementes et flentes, in ac lacrimarum vale. Ea ergo, advocata nostra, illos tuos, misericordes oculos, ad nos converte. Et Iesum, benedictum fructum ventris tui, nobis, post hoc exilium, ostende. O clemens, o mia, o dulcis Virgo Maria.
Good night. We love you. Thank you. We did it. We did it. All right, thank you. Thank you all so much for joining us this evening. It means the world.